Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel, and it is a new brief history of a Disney attraction video. Thank you so much for all the love and all the comments on the previous video, the Pirates of the Caribbean one. I had just a blast making that and I was really looking forward to getting on to the next one. But if you haven't seen that one, you can go back and watch it. I'll put an eye somewhere here in one of these corners. But today's video is about the first ever attraction to be based on a non-Disney film. So of course that is Forgotten Baby Yoda. Oh, I've got to have him in the background. Helena?
Yeah?
I was just wondering if I could borrow Baby Yoda.
Oh yeah, sure. Here you are.
Oh, thank you. I'm just about to start recording the video.
Oh cool, have fun.
I will. That app that you said you've been using, what did you say it was called?
Oh, it's called Justified Expansion of Deep Thought and Introspection. It's like a mindfulness app.
Ah, okay. Right, here you go, next to Woody. Now that we're all set, I can now tell you that today's video is all about Star Tours. So the idea of a simulator-based ride in a Disney park starts a long time ago, the 1970s, in a galaxy far, far away, California, when a new land called Discovery Bay is being planned. Thoughts turn to a ride based on the movie 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. However, technology at the time says, no, not gonna happen. Maybe wait a little. They do wait a little and they think of another idea for a simulator ride, this time based on the science fiction movie The Black Hole. The Black Hole is released and does not live up to expectations. Therefore, the idea for the ride is shelved. Fast forward to 1985 and the closure of the ride Adventure Through Inner Space. There's a gap in the park, we need a ride, what are we gonna do? Well, elsewhere, George Lucas is being approached to produce a 3D movie to be played around the parks. It's going to star Michael Jackson and be directed by Francis Ford Coppola, acclaimed director, noted for his amazing work on the Godfather movies. If you want a description of this film, it's called Captain EO. You can find it on YouTube. It's sort of a combination of The Muppets, Star Wars, Labyrinth, and Guardians of the Galaxy. That's the best description I can give. Go and watch it. It's wild. So George Lucas in this meeting is also asked about a simulator ride based on Star Wars. George Lucas thinks, and he likes it. He gives the go-ahead. We're on our way. The ride film and story was to be developed as a joint venture between Industrial Light and Magic, also known as ILM, and Disney Imagineering, making it one of the most expensive rides in development at the time. And the creative team, they had a blast when it came to thinking of ideas for the ride. They thought about time travel. That way you could travel to any point in the Star Wars universe. They also thought about an underwater cruise through the swamps of Dagobah. Although I'm not sure how Yoda would have felt about his planet being invaded by tourists. Probably would have been peeling back his curtain in his hut and shouting for them to get off his planet. They also thought about something to do with Jedi training, which eventually, decades later, would turn into the Jedi training experience. But eventually, what they decided to do was set the ride as sort of a sequel, taking place shortly after Return of the Jedi. Right, what's next?
Okay, I'm off now. My phone isn't working. I think it's like Signal or something.
Okay.
But if you need me, just use this. All right, love you, bye.
Love you. Wait a minute, Budge.
Yeah?
You never explained how this thing works.
Oh yeah, I forgot. If it makes a noise, just open it.
But it's just a watch.
Trust me.
Where did you say you were going?
Oh, out for a walk.
I'll see you later then. Bye. So when it came to the actual ride film, long-time Star Wars veteran Dennis Muren led the ILM production. However, artistic director and storyboard artist Dave Carson did have to step in briefly while Dennis and his wife were having their first child. Star Tours, baby! Now the shoot was unlike anything that ILM had done before. If you've got a movie, you've got a scene happening, you can cut away at any point. Makes it a bit easier. Whereas with Star Tours, the idea of the ride meant that everything that the audience was seeing, they had to believe was happening to them in real time. It had to seem like one continuous take. They first mapped out the entire sequence in a series of storyboards. The storyboards were then used to create a full animatic, which they then took on board the simulators to see whether or not they liked how it looked. If they did like how it looked, they could then start shooting. Star Tours was shot the old-fashioned way, using practical models and miniatures and computer-controlled cameras. Even though this was a lot shorter than a feature-length film, many of the ILM team members have said that they found it as challenging and as complicated as any of their big-screen work, if not even more so. The ride structure was to be created from 4 military-grade flight simulators. Now, in order to create the movement of the simulator, Disney Imagineers decided they were going to use the Atlas system, Advanced Technology Leisure Application Simulator. The reason they were using this one is because it allowed for 6 degrees of freedom, meaning that it could simulate most types of movement. However, when it came to matching up the visuals and the score with the actual ride structure, they still ran into problems. How did they solve it? They gave a programmer an amazing job. They actually sat on the ride with a joystick, and as the film played, they synced up all of the elements as they happened. Each of the structures had to be lowered into the show building, and each structure cost $500,000. On January the 9th, 1987, Star Tours opened to the public at Disneyland Park in California, and they went all out for the opening day. A stage performance took place showcasing a battle with all the main characters. It started off as a stunt show and then became a rather beautiful choreographed dance routine. And then to cut the ribbon, they weren't going to use your traditional scissors. Instead, they used their very own lightsaber. Star Tours helped revitalise the Disney park, and it set attendance records. It held those records all the way up until Indiana Jones Adventure, which opened 8 years later. Funnily enough, the ride was only meant to be temporary, to maybe last a couple of years, but due to the popularity, they thought, hang on a minute, let's just see how this goes. Star Tours also opened at Tokyo Disneyland on July 12th, 1989. It opened at Disney's MGM Studios on December 15th, 1989. And for the Florida opening, Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia themselves, Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher, joined George Lucas and Michael Eisner for the grand opening festivities. In 1992, the attraction was part of the Disneyland Paris opening lineup. That's looking okay. Alright, kid. Don't get cocky.
Oh yeah, I forgot. If it makes a noise, just open it.
You got it working then?
I guess I did.
I need you to do me a huge favour.
Yeah?
Well, I sent myself this very important email that had a number in it that I couldn't forget.
Okay. What do you want me to do?
Well, tell me the number. I've forgotten it.
It's not important information, is it? You do know about the dangers of sending confidential information.
I know.
Alright, what am I looking for?
Well, there should be an email titled Cruiser Destruction Sequence Code.
Very specific. Sorry. Imperial what now?
Imperial Cruiser Destruction Sequence Code.
Yeah, I heard that bit. I meant as in, like, what's that about?
You don't need to know, just give me the number.
Well, I think I do. I mean, you can't just throw up the words Imperial Cruiser Destruction Sequence Code and expect somebody to be absolutely fine and dandy about it. I mean, look, this has been a very strange day and I have asked no questions up until now, but I think now I need to stand up, I need to be brave, and I need to ask those questions.
You don't need to know, just give me the number.
Look, why do you just keep saying that? Helena, I am not letting this go.
You don't need to know, just give me the number.
You're right. I don't need to know. I just need to give you the number. So, here it is. Imperial Cruiser Destruction Sequence Code is 3263827.
Thank you, love you.
Upon entry, guests enter a spaceport where a life-size C-3PO and R2-D2 are working on the Star Speeder 3000, the ride vehicle for the attraction and your supposed means of transportation. Anthony Daniels himself, who not only came on board to voice C-3PO, also acted out the entire pre-show so the Imagineers could shoot reference footage to later help guide the programming of his audio animatronics counterpart. Star Tours was a travel transportation agency offering trips to Endor. However, according to the droid pilot Rex, voiced by Paul Rubens, it was his first day on the job and he wasn't used to his programming. As a result of his mistakes, guests never make it to Endor. They do, however, crash through comets, make jumps to light speed, and even experience the classic trench run on the Death Star. As guests navigate their way through the queue line, they come across two very talkative droids, G2-4T and G2-9T. These two droids are aptly named G2 because they were created from the skeletons of two geese droids formerly seen in the audio animatronics musical America Sings. One giveaway is their webbed feet. Over the years, George Lucas was always looking for how to develop and change the Star Wars attraction. In 1998, George Lucas showed Disney the pod racing scene from Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. He pitched a new version of the ride complete with a 3D aspect. Guests would don their glasses, resembling Anakin's pod racing goggles. They would then travel to Tatooine and take part in a pod race. This never happened though, as apparently Imagineers thought that it would be too specific and limiting for fans. In 2010, Star Tours closed to become Star Tours The Adventure Continues. Disney Imagineers created the idea of the Ride Matrix, which allowed guests to experience multiple events from not only the original trilogies, but also the prequels. Of course, there have been movies since then, so Disney continues to add new scenes with each new film. So what other changes were made during the closure? Well, the main character was changed. Rex, he was given the boot. And in his place was meant to be a character called Ace, who would be played by Patrick Warburton, known for his sterling work on the pre-show for Soarin'. But George Lucas wasn't too keen on this idea, so eventually they settled for C-3PO. He was going to be the one to lead our Voyagers bravely into space. Well, he doesn't do it very bravely. He does panic quite a bit. But Patrick Warburton still played a role in the attraction, and here's the voice, though it is tweaked, here's the voice of G2-4T, the droid by the security scanner. But before we move on, let's go back to Rex, because I'm feeling sorry for him. Well, since leaving Star Tours, he's been absolutely everywhere. He's been in the queue line for the attraction, he's been featured in the animated series Star Wars Rebels, and he crash lands on Batuu, finds himself on his feet again, he's taken to a droid depot, he's reprogrammed, given a lick of paint, a fresh new look, and now he's DJ Rex at Ogre's Cantina. Go along, ask him for a tune. Say hi from me. Something else that needed updating was the safety video before the ride. Now, they actually wanted to get the original actress back to recreate it, but they couldn't find her. So instead, they decided to go for a CGI droid. And if you look closely enough, you'll realise that this droid is modelled on the WA-7 waitress droid from a scene in Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones. Now, the updated safety video does pay homage to the original, and of course, they've kept my favourite bit, Chewie getting his photograph taken. Never gets old. Star Tours The Adventure Continues opened in 2011 in Hollywood Studios and in Disneyland in California. It opened in 2013 in Tokyo, and it wasn't until 2017 that Disneyland Paris got the update. And cut. Oh, you're back.
You have to stop now.
Alright, well I just got one more scene to do, which is the outro, and then I can make some food. I think we've got some pasta left.
Well, I hope you've got enough. We're about to be joined by stormtroopers.
Stormtroopers? You're not making any sense.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Helena, what is going on?
The time to fight is now.
Fight? What do you mean fight? I don't want to fight. What is it that you're not telling me?
Well, let's just say you'll find I'm full of surprises.
I have a bad feeling about this.
I won't fail you. I'm not afraid. I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me.
Toodle Pipski.